Okay, let's see. And go. Turn all the way down. Cassie, what are you doing? Let's see if we can get some people in here. Why can't I see the live chat? Okay, y'all, we're gonna give a few minutes. Appreciate whoever is here. You know, the lighting situation is not that good on this streaming, but whatever. We'll have to deal with it for right now. Wait for some people to get in here. Good evening, Free Spirit Erica. How are you? What's going on, Sugar Booger? Thanks for joining me. How's it going? How's it going? And y'all, if y'all see me looking down, you know I'm looking at my phone to see the chat. Well, actually, I can see it over here. Let's see. Can I comment on this side too? Let's see if it'll do the same thing like. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, it doesn't do like how it did on the YouTube thing. Hey, Vonda. I did. I had to change my name. I go through these cycles. Okay. Excuse me if I'm hollering, but I go through these cycles. Hey, Tina Boo. I go through these cycles and I have like these, I don't know, solid wisdom and intuition. It was good. However, it was just too long, especially when child trying to make a website with that name, girl, that's too long, honey. Even an email address, it was just too long. It's too long. It started off the inspiration because actually, if I'm not mistaken, I started it off during a bunch of retrograde stuff. So it started it off, got things going. What's going on, Taylor? How you doing? Thank y'all for coming and joining. We're gonna give it a few minutes, give people time to come into the chats, come into the live, see what we have going on here, girl. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. And I had some technical difficulties because I was supposed to do it last night, but my computer was doing some kind of weird stuff. It was rebooting. And I think it's because I had, y'all know I've been doing the monthly tarot readings for all of the 12 signs. And so I think I had just had too many videos on my hard drive. And this is the old computer. But let me tell you something about these Apple products, honey. They last forever, especially if you take good care of them. So I've actually had this same MacBook Pro since 2010, 2011, and it's 2019, sis. Okay, I've replaced the hard drive twice and the touchpad once. Taylor, how much I charge for birth charts? Well, depends. So if you want like a natal reading, it depends on if you want something like that's really in depth or you just want to focus on one area of life. So let me know which one that is. Yes, girl. Apple lasts forever. That's my stuff. That's my stuff. I need to retwist my hair too. Tina actually came from another channel. I was watching, I cannot remember her name, but I was watching her channel. She used to be like a natural hair guru type of person, and she went on her own spiritual journey too. And I was commenting over there with some stuff that she had going on. And Tina came over and subscribed to my channel. I guess she liked, I'm assuming you liked what I had to say. And I appreciate you coming over. Yeah, in depth. Send me an email. My website is going to be up. Probably it's going to be up before the week is over with, because I just closed my old one. So it's going to be up before the end of the week. But let me see. Is my Instagram on here? My new one. I think my new Instagram is on here. My new email. It's info@iamwellversed.com. Okay. Yeah, just send me an email and I'll send you the prices. I may start putting it underneath in the description box underneath the video. I'm not 100% sure just yet. But I mean, it's no secret. It's public information. So what else? But yeah, I have the prices that I send in an email, a formal email. So yeah. So how y'all feeling? What's going on? How are y'all feeling? Because like over the weekend, I had some turbulent type of disturbing energy. But that was really because I was tapping into kind of like some old ways of doing things, old ways of feeling as such. No problem, Taylor. Like I said, just email me, because and I may put it in the description box. I'm not sure. But anyways, I had some disturbing energy. And I think it's because this full moon in Aquarius is coming. And so the person that actually was disturbing my peace was an Aquarius. So yeah, that's that. Have any of y'all been experiencing some, I wouldn't say turbulent, but like challenging energy where like the old you wants to like come out, right? The old you, or things that you have already moved past or moved forward from. Have y'all seen yourself kind of, there are certain people, situations, things that'll kind of trigger you? Any of that happened to any of y'all? Because I know, child, let me tell you something. I was, yeah, highly irritated. But I think for me, the big lesson was to continue to remember, one, some people and things and situations will never change, right? And once you've changed and once you've evolved, especially as you get to know and develop your spiritual intellect, that you continue to move in that direction and stop going backwards. Because we have a tendency to go backwards. Situations, people, places, or things come about or come back into the picture, come back into the fold. And remember, Mercury became visible last week, right? So I really feel like that was that energy, you know, people popping back up, you ain't heard from them in a while, or, you know, situations that you thought that you dealt with, you hadn't felt like you dealt with it, or you just kind of like pushed to the side or something like that, and you didn't deal with it head on. Yeah. Tina said all day on Saturday. Yeah. Definitely feel very irritable. And I think it really has a lot to do with what's going on in the cosmos. And we'll get to that in just a moment here. Let's see where we at. We almost at 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in a few moments, because I really want to talk about what's been happening and kind of like what I've been seeing, what's been going on. Because I see a lot of communication that's happening, especially since Mercury just moved into Leo. You know, Leo is confident, Leo is bold, and I've been seeing a lot of bold stuff going on and happening. Okay. Taylor says she was kind of irked all day today. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I do believe that Venus went combust today, and if you have a lot of, depending on where you have Venusian energy and how heavy it is, you may have been experiencing, because when Venus is combust, Venus is not visible. Venus is not visible. So, I mean, my chart is ruled by Venus, and so I really feel like that's what was happening for me, was because I'm a Taurus rising. So if you're a Taurus or a Libra rising, you would have been experiencing that head on. So said she had to put on some gospel music that she was no child. Let me tell you, whatever you need to do to get yourself back centered, that's what you got to do. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I really feel like it's really one of those things where some things just don't require a reaction. Some things just don't require reaction. Vonda said she cussed her sister out yesterday. She was so fed up. Yeah, I mean, we're coming into the full moon, and we'll get into that. The full moon is on the 15th. I think the 15th is Wednesday. Yeah, the 15th is, no, Thursday, I'm sorry. The 15th is Thursday, and that's that full moon in Aquarius. Aquarian energy is air energy. That's number one. So it has a tendency to kind of be all over the place and very spread out. But Aquarius also has like this, not I'm better than other people, but more of like, I don't really want to come down to you humans level type of thing, right? And so you may be seeing people starting to get fed of people either who have that type of attitude, or the energies could be vice versa, right? You could be like, okay, you know, you're doing too much, right? Or you could be the person that's doing the most. Doing the most. But also Aquarius is like community service based. If I'm not mistaken, I think, isn't Aquarius ruled by Uranus or Uranus, however you want to say it? Yeah, it is. And so it has a lot to do with like the higher mind, technology, advances in technology. It has a lot to do with that. Oh, Tina, you're an Aquarius. Okay, girl. Have you? So, and I know all Aquariuses are not one way. Okay, you have every particular zodiac within what we call a natal chart. Hey, 6 Figure Days, how you doing? And so what happens is the Aquarius females that I know are really cool, really laid back women. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know a whole lot of Aquarian women. I know probably two, probably 2 or 3. But I noticed that myself and air signs, we get along very well. Simply because air and fire has the tendency to work well together, just as long as they don't egg each other on too much into the wrong energy, right? So for example, you know, with fire, if you blow air on it, right, and if it's hot air, that means if it's charging you up, if it's hot air, then it's going to expand. Okay, the fire is going to get bigger. It just is. And air just travels and keeps going and going and going. And before you know it, you got air, you got a bunch of fire. Just imagine like those fires that they were having in California. That is what you would see with a fire and air energy just lumped together or combined together. All right. And it could be either very explosive in a good way or explosive in a bad way, right? Depending on what they're doing, who they're doing with, and what, you know. Yes, Tina, fan in the flame. Exactly. 6 Figure Days says that Gemini and Aquarius people click. Yes, they do, because both of them are air energy. So typically you'll see a lot of air and air, fire and fire, water and water, earth and earth. Or you'll see air and fire, and you'll see earth and fire. And sometimes you'll see earth and water. Earth and water a little bit sometimes. It depends, because with earth and water makes earth very muddy. So that's that. And yes, Vonda, air and fire can tear some stuff up, pretty much. All right, so we already at 15 minutes. I've been talking. Okay, so let's backtrack real quick. So yesterday, which was the 11th, we had Uranus or Uranus go retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Okay, so let's talk about this. Uranus is shock and awe and all this good stuff. Uranus is technology. Uranus is higher mind, higher consciousness, higher thinking, right? And so when it goes retrograde, that means all of that energy is turned internally. We're learning more on the inside, or we're taking more time to go within, right? 6-figure days, you say you thought you were fire. What's your sign? Let me know what your sign is. And so with Uranus going retrograde, and it's going retrograde in Taurus, right? So Taurus is earth energy. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. Venus, what does Venus rule? Venus rules love, money, finances, luxury, indulging, and stuff like that, right? So you have Uranus and Taurus. So Uranus is the shock and awe, spontaneous type of things, but also like new developments in technology and stuff like that, right? Innovations. Gemini is air. And so what happens is with Uranus and Taurus, do y'all remember when we were having all those earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, just a lot of stuff happening out of the blue? That was Uranus and Taurus, because Uranus literally shakes the earth up. That's what happens. So when Uranus goes back direct, you'll see more of that happening. Basically, the earth is literally shaking and moving, right? Whether it's in the water, it's on land, wherever it is that it feels that it needs to, that's what's going to be happening. Okay, and so, so Uranus and Taurus going retrograde yesterday. So in some cases, depending on what you have going on in your chart, I'm really moving towards more not so giving so much generalized forecasts in a sense, because what happens is people will think because there's a certain transit happening and it may be a positive transit that it's going to be so positive for you, right? And that may not necessarily be how it necessarily is, because Cosby, no, sorry, that's my dog. And because of what you may have going on in your own natal chart, that's why it's important to know your natal chart. If you would like to see what's going on in your natal chart, just kind of like the broad thing, just to see what everybody else gets to see, go to cafeastrology.com, right? Look at where it says how to obtain a natal chart. You need your birth time, you need your birthplace, and of course you need your name. And you need the exact time. If you don't have the time, you can put in unknown time. You just won't get all the information that you need to see, right? You won't get all that information, all right? And so when you go there, you input your information, and then you get to see your planets, okay? You get to see what zodiac signs are in each planet. So that's Uranus, that's Neptune, Pluto, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars. I feel like I'm missing some, but it's a bunch of different planets, right? So you have the planets there, and then you have, let me see, then you have, your 12 houses, right? And your 12 houses represent different elements of your life. And with the planets, it could be how those things are planning out or how they're panning out in your life, right? Hold on, yeah, this dog, he's crazy. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so with that being said, with Uranus and Taurus going retrograde, they say it's supposed to be positive changes in love, positive changes in finances, but it depends on where Uranus is in your chart, where Taurus is in your chart, and what aspects, right? So you have the planets, the 12 houses, then the aspects, and then you have special asteroids, right? So Free Spirit Erica says, I've been trying to get my hands on my birth time. Well, it's typically on your birth certificate. However, like I said, you can always select the option of unknown time. But typically it's on your official birth certificate, because I've seen two different types of birth certificates. There's one where it just has your name, city, birth date, And I think that's about it. But the other one has mother and father, county, hospital, all that good stuff on there. So I don't know which one you're looking at or which one you've been researching. I don't live in Virginia, so I don't know a whole lot about that particular state and how they do it. But the Bureau of Vital Statistics should be able to provide you with that. Typically, they're located in your downtown area. And I believe they would have a copy of your complete birth information down to the time. All right. So let me know how that goes, Erica. Cosby. Hey, I said no. So you trying to do stuff when I'm not paying attention. I said no. If I come over there, I'm gonna pop you. All right. Sorry, y'all. All right. So we had that, right? All right. So we had that. That was actually yesterday. And so let's move on to the 14th, which is Wednesday. So a couple things going on. So Jupiter is going direct on the 14th. And is it the 14th? Yes, I believe it's the 14th. If not, it happened yesterday. It's one of those 2 days. And so, okay, so Jupiter going direct, right? When a planet moves direct, what happens is the expression or the way that you feel it is no longer external. It's no longer internal, it's external, especially depending on where you have those particular degrees. So it's going to be at 14 degrees Sagittarius. So if you are a rising Sagittarius or wherever you have Sagittarius in your chart natally, especially if you have your Jupiter in Sagittarius, you're going to be feeling this a lot more than other people, depending on that degree. Look at this. Y'all give me one second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. The dog was tearing stuff up. What's going on, Taylor? What's going on? You said pop, pop, pop. Okay. So with Jupiter going direct, right? Let's think about this. Wherever you were having a lot of activity and expansion, because I think Jupiter went retrograde, I think it was in June or July. So before June or July, think about what was happening during that time where it may have seemed like things were getting bigger and expansive, or you were learning more. Maybe you were getting into metaphysics. Maybe you get into tarot. Maybe you were considering going to get a degree or get another degree. Traveling, especially international travel, learning other cultures, learning new languages, things like that. What's up, Rudin? What's going on? And so you'll be seeing a resurgence of that, right? It won't happen immediately, right? So it's once a planet goes direct, it takes time for it to get in position to start moving forward and to really gain some traction, because it's like it was sleep for a while, right? When planet goes retrograde, it goes to sleep. And so when it moves direct, it has to, take some, how it is when you go to sleep and you wake up, kind of take you some time to kind of, get your feet on the ground real good. So that's what happens with Jupiter and Sagittarius. So things dealing with your health, things dealing with immigration, education, banking, government, like I said, international travel, anything about other cultures, spirituality, things like that. You should start seeing those things over the next, I would say probably, we're in August, maybe in October, you'll start to see real fruits of your labor, that if you've been working on it, right, wherever that particular area is in your chart, if you've been working on it, you'll start to see the fruits of your labor sometime around like October, November, right? Right before right before Jupiter decides to leave Sagittarius and go into Capricorn in December. Actually, the day after my birthday, December 2nd, is going into Capricorn. Okay, so that's that. And then on the 14th, the sun is going to be conjunct Venus. Conjunctions are interesting. I prefer sextiles and trines when it comes to aspects in astrology, when it deals with certain planets or different houses and stuff like that. So the sun is in Leo and Venus is in Leo too, I believe, as well. And so what's Leo? Leo is confident. Leo is bold. Leo is big and expansive. Attention, like I need the attention on me, front and center. What's going on? What's good? That is Leo. Leo energy is very big, very, in some instances, in a low vibrational way, Leo can be arrogant or obnoxious. And then you have Venus there, and Venus in a fire sign is quite interesting, right? Because naturally Venus rules Taurus and Libra, so that's air and earth. So I wouldn't say, I don't think it's debilitated in Leo, but it isn't as strong as if it were to be in Taurus or Libra. And so with Venus going to Leo, you're going to show more passion and confidence within relationships, right? Because remember, Venus deals with relationships, love, finances, career, luxury, indulgence. So there's a lot of showing other people and not being afraid to tell people how you feel, not being afraid to, or being very confident in what you say to other people, right? That's what's happening with this Sun conjunct Venus, right? So, you know, there may be some peace and harmony when it comes to, oh, especially beauty stuff. How can I forget? Venus is beauty, right? Beauty. So with, you know, there may be, you may want to get like a facial, or you want to get maybe your nails done or a massage or something like that, or you want to pay for your mate or somebody that you're close to, one of your loved ones. You want to pay for that, right? You want to show them a good time and, you know, get them pampered, get some beauty treatments and spa treatments and all that kind of stuff, right? And then like your creativity should start to pop a little bit more, because Venusian energy is creative energy too, right? And so especially being in Leo can be very, very creative, and we're ready to start things and ready to move and ready to go like real quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? Without necessarily looking at all the details. But I feel like this is a good thing, especially, you know, if you are looking for, you've been missing the ability to create. So if you were a writer and you had writer's block, if you know, were a fashion designer and you didn't have any good inspiration when it came to, you know, fashion items that you wanted to design, or, you know, just different things like that. And so, but the thing is, don't overindulge in these things, because too much of a good thing is a bad thing, right? We already know that there has to be some type of balance, and we know that, you know, Leo can be, you know, go big or go home, right? And we don't want to put ourselves in a predicament where we're going too big and we got to go home with our tail tucked, right? Nah. Okay, and then lastly, on August 15th, I talked about this briefly at the beginning of the live. Full moon is going into Aquarius, and it's actually going to be opposite Venus. So interesting, because Aquarius is air energy and Venus is in fire energy, right? So they're opposites. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's a good thing. It just really depends on how, where these particular zodiacs fall within your chart, right? Okay, so the full moon in Aquarius. Full moons, we know they're about culmination points. Things coming full circle, new cycles beginning, endings, completions. That's what a full moon is for. Full moon is for you to get rid of things. It's not necessarily the best time to start new things, but maybe you know, put the development piece of it together. Okay, and then so there may be like a desire or a need for like love and affection, and it could be conflicting, because so you have this desire with Venus for love and affection in Leo, right? Because we know that Leo likes to show love and affection, and, you know, be very confident and bold and show other people. They're the show me sign, right? So they like to show other people how they love them, or, you know, things like that. But then you have it being opposite, the full moon in Aquarius. So the full moon is saying, hey man, look, hey, let's chill out on that. Let's focus on this other stuff that we have going on. But so it could cause drama surrounding those type of things, like, you know, relationships. And remember, since it's the opposite, right, of Venus, we have to take into account what Venus rules, what Venus talks about, and then what the full moon is and what the full moon is about, right? So, and when they're opposing each other, you don't want to play too much to one side. You don't want to get too much into one energy, right? Because if you do, there's a strong possibility that you'll start to manifest or bring things in your life that you really didn't want, negative things, right? Because there was no balance between the two. So there are some things that you got to let go of, you got to let it complete, and you got to let it come full circle to a culmination point. And then you have other things that you want to indulge in. So you have to find that balance between the two, right? So you may be having these urges or to spend a lot of money, right? Or you may have these urges to eat a lot of sweets or overindulge in beauty related things, right? You want to go overboard with the spa day, you know, you getting your hair done, your nails done, your makeup done. This, it's too much, right? So you got to have some balance within that, especially since this is a full moon. Full moons are really like an opportunity to rest and reflect, right? And if you don't know, or you don't know how to do like a full moon ritual, you can look them up on YouTube. I think I may do a video on what I do, because I do a full moon ritual and I do a new moon ritual, because I feel like it's important to honor the moon cycles. And ladies, also honor your menstrual cycle, right? Because that's a moon cycle too. And let's see what else. So the best way to deal with the energy with the full moon is to be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people. Be patient with, you know, different situations and scenarios that may come around, because it's important to, one, have that balance, but two, not to put yourself into an energy that can manifest what you don't want, right? Let's see what else. I really think that's it. That's like the major stuff that's happening this week. Do y'all have any questions? What's up, GK? Aries. So y'all let me know if y'all have any questions before I move on to the tarot portion of the live. But I think that is it. I covered everything, the major stuff for this week. Y'all excuse my dog. So I saged the cards already, and of course you already know I'm using my my universal weight tarot deck, and I'm also going to use my sacred geometry activations oracle deck. I'm going to use both of these. I might pull out this mystical wisdom card deck if spirit leads me to do so, but for right now, it's what I'm working with. And my sage is still going, y'all. I've been burning my sage since I started. It's been 30 minutes, and the sage is still going, honey. Okay? It got a little darker. Okay, I think that's good right there. All right, y'all. Move my notebook. And let me take a sip of water real quick. All right. Spirit messages do you have for the collective for this week? What guidance can you provide to us so that we can continue to flow, manifest, bring things down from the higher dimensions down to this third dimension, this physical plane? What for us for this week, so that we can continue to stay on the path of higher consciousness, continue to elevate ourselves, our minds, our spirits, our bodies, the people around us, while utilizing our own innate abilities, characteristics, and traits to bring in our manifestations. Ooh, that was heavy. There's a lot of people counting on bringing in manifestations or bringing things in that they've been wanting, because they've been putting a lot of work in. And the readings that I've been doing thus far, all the readings that I've been doing, all of them have been geared around people rebuilding their mental and their emotional state of being, right? because especially since we just came out of this Mercury and Cancer energy, we just came out of this Jupiter retrograde. Now Jupiter is direct, and over the next couple months, the rest of the planets will start going back direct. I think September, Saturn goes direct, I believe. Uranus just went back retrograde. So it's a lot of retrospection and just spending time to get yourself together, to get your mental house together. Because I'm telling you, all of the readings that I've been doing thus far, and the Gemini video is actually up, but I might make it live tomorrow. I think I might make it live tomorrow. So continue to work on your mental. When you feel like things are going overboard or you feel unbalanced, go outside and just stick your bare ass feet in the ground and inhale and exhale. But you exhale and inhale from the core, from your gut, like when you can feel it, right? In your core. You inhale slowly and then you exhale. Take an energy cleansing bath. If you have Epsom salt, if you have lavender essential oil, tea tree essential oil, if you have rose petals, I thought I had mine up here, but I think they're in the bathroom. If you have rose petals, anything like that. GK says, do you believe Zodiac can help predict politics? Hell yeah. Politicians, believe it or not, politicians, people in the government, scientists, physicists, everybody uses astrology. They just don't tell other people that they use it, but they do. There are a lot of dignitaries and the like that use politics. And actually, this whole Uranus and Taurus thing is going to be changing how we see, do, and operate in this particular society right now. As you can see, Uranus and Taurus, when Uranus and Taurus started, that's when this cryptocurrency came around. Nobody ever heard of cryptocurrency. They're like, where in the hell does this come from? That's where it came from. It's that energy, that newness in technology, that higher mind, that next level. Just like when computers and stuff came around, that's like when electric cars came around. So it's all of that is there. I mean, it's written in the aspects. And smart people, let me not say this, let me not say smart people, but people who are of an elite status or wealthy status, they know this and they use it to their ability, right? So for example, if I know that if I take a look at my transits for the next couple of days, my own particular transits, I look at those and then I compare them to what's going on in the cosmos for the entire globe, right? I can be able to best predict what's coming, right? And then I can use my own practice of metaphysics and manifestation to bring or to draw those things in, right? So I pay attention to my own stuff. So if there's something that I'm working on, whether it's a new website, which is coming out soon, if there's a new website, a new business, a book, whatever it is that you're looking to do, especially travel for long periods of time, relocating yourself and your family, that stuff too, all that falls into that particular realm. And you can use that not as a particular like end all be all. It's not that. It's more of you being able to use it to predict, but also to use it to manipulate or to have the outcome that you desire, right? The outcome that you know from your higher mind, your higher self from another dimension that they're already living, right? Because we're at the bottom. We're at the third dimension. We're at the bottom. There are 9 dimensions, right? So we had to come all the way down here to get there. You say you wanted Trump is in the cards for the U.S. Actually, Trump was in the cards a long time ago. Do y'all remember The Simpsons? Do y'all remember The Simpsons? The Simpsons talked about, they showed this man being president. He manifested that along with him understanding and knowing astrology or having somebody very near him that understands that. Just saying. All right. Spirit, help us for this week. People are feeling irritable with this Venus combust. What do you have for us? Thank you in advance for your clear and concise messages. Woo. All right, y'all. I see a lot of people moving away. At the bottom of the deck, there's this, sorry, let me get this situation together. Okay, there's the Six of Swords. Swords represent air energy. Okay, so there's Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. But you see there's a man, my fingers right, there's a man steering a boat. There's a woman and child here. I know y'all can't really see it because of the light. There we go, that's a little better. But that's moving away from things that were conflicting, things that were challenging, right? That's what that is, moving away. Okay. Oh, all right. Aries. Queen of Wands. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it tonight. There we go. Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is fire energy to begin with. So you in your own energy, right? You're in your own energy, and it's bringing life back to you. Bringing life back to you, because I really feel like, and I think I told Aries this, Aries was having issues with being distracted, being around or in situations with people, places, and things that were distracting them from their bigger picture, from the big picture, the goal, right? And so now you sitting on the throne looking around like, man, look at this shit. But there's that black cat at the bottom of the card. The black cat represents your dark energy, right? But keeping it in line, keeping it in check, but it's still at the forefront. It's still at the front of you, because it's there to help you when there are situations, circumstances, people, places, and things that try to cross your path. Because if you notice, cats don't allow dogs to cross their path, to cross in front of them. Y'all ever notice that? Right? And dogs, in a sense, right, are aggressive animals, and sometimes, right? Or it could just be any spirit that the cat doesn't like, because animals have this tendency to read people and to react and respond to their particular energies. So when you feel yourself, when you feel your gut, like that gut feeling telling you, I don't trust this person, I don't like the situation, something ain't right about it, go with it. Go with it, right? But it's also, on the flip side, for some people, it could be just you being in a position to be more decisive, right? To be in a position also where you're bringing more life and more light to situations, circumstances, people, of whatever you have going on. That's some of the things that could be happening, because I really feel like it's two different energies. It's one energy where it's like one person is like, hey, you know, I came to bring light to the situation because there's a lot of darkness and cold shit going on over here, right? And then you have that other person who says, you know what, I have had a lot of distractions, a lot of people getting in the way, doing what they're not supposed to be doing. And now I have to put a stop to that, because I have to get back on my pathway. I have to get back to doing my work, right? So, Aries, let me know how they go. All right, Spirit, what information do you have for the sign of Taurus? What information do you have? All right, Taurus, the Three of Pentacles, putting in work. Putting in work. That is what the Taurus is doing. I'm trying to remember what your reading was about last month. I believe, give me 1 second, I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. Yeah, it was talking about like leaving the struggle, right? But in order to leave the struggle, you have to work the plan. So in this card, there's a priest and there's an architect in this card. They're coming to this guy that's working. He's on the workbench. He got his work apron on. He's doing some work. He's going to work on something. And so with the priest is higher knowledge, higher spirit, higher wisdom, right? that's that full moon in Aquarius energy where it's talking about that higher mind, right? But then also, because we had this Uranus in Taurus retrograde, that's also talking about the higher mind. You may be getting downloads, right? You may be getting downloads on what you need to be working on, who you need to be working with, who you need to be listening to, who you don't need to listen to, right? Because the architect is here with a plan that says, hey, you know what? I'm experienced. I know what to do. I've been through this before. And so with the priest and with the architect, I mean, you can't lose with both of them because you have somebody with worldly life experience, right? Who's doing something similar to what you're doing or what you want to do or what you desire to do. Or what you're working on, and then you have the priest there that says, hey, you know what, let me help to elevate your mind, right? Not just necessarily in a spiritual way, but let me just help to enlighten you a little bit more. Let me help to elevate your mind to think on another level. So Taurus, is this you, right? Is this you, this priest or this architect over here? Because the priest, when I think of the priest can be more than just somebody from the outside coming in. This could be your spirit guides, your ancestors. This could be you. This could be, you know, especially if you have taken time to build your spiritual intellect. If that's you, then you may be getting downloads concerning that. And especially because the same priest that's in this Three of Pentacles is also in the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card is the guy who's sitting. There are two guys that are sitting like kind of like at the bottom of the throne or something like that. And there's another priest, like I guess a higher ranking priest that's standing up there that's teaching them. And so what this higher mind or priest or somebody who has a higher spiritual IQ, right? They've learned from somebody else. And so they come to teach you or to help you. All right. So Taurus, let me know how that goes, because, you know, it's important for you to pay attention to the energies that are surrounding you, especially because we have this full moon in Aquarius. So it could be you may be having those downloads and getting confirmations on how to move forward or what you need to develop or work on come Thursday, Friday, or somewhere around there, right? Spirit messages do you have for the sign of Gemini? Let's see. What messages do you have for the sign of Gemini, Spirit? What messages do you have for the sign of Gemini? What messages do you have for the sign of Gemini? I feel like Gemini is still in their head. I even told Gemini that in their reading that's going to be posted or published tomorrow. And then look at this. As soon as I talk about that, there's the Hermit card, right? And the Hermit card is Virgo's card in the tarot. And this was actually the very first card that came out in your reading, Gemini. This was the very first card that came out. And it's a couple things, right? Either the pathway is getting lit up for you. The pathway is getting lit up for you because he's holding that lantern. You see that lantern right there he's holding? Okay. And he's walking, he's looking down because he's trying to figure out where he's going, where he's walking on, what he's stepping onto, right? Because it's kind of rocky. But it's the pathway getting lit up, right? But I feel like it's also getting away from that self-isolation, the voluntary isolation, but also like depressive thoughts, ideas, and depressive energy, because Virgo energy can be very depressive because the Virgo mind overanalyzes so much or overthinks so much. So does Gemini. Overthinks and overanalyzes everything to the point where they talk themselves out of everything. And it becomes something that depresses them because they can never move forward with anything. But in your reading, I talked about moving forward and moving past that. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Gemini? Come on, Gemini. Spirit messages. All right, there we go. We got one. Ace of Cups. Hold on. There we go. Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is talking about this overflow, this abundance that's divine, that's coming from divine spirit, divine source energy, right? That's what this Ace of Cups is. But remember, cups represent emotions. They also represent water signs, right? So it's maybe, especially since we're having this full moon in Aquarius, maybe that depressive energy is coming to a complete end, and you get a resurgence where you get like this boost of energy, like this boost of happiness and clarity and optimism, right? Looking forward to what's happening, what's coming, to what you're manifesting, because it's something that's growing. Because you see at the bottom of the card in the water, there are lily pads and flowers and shit. So it's not like these are bad feelings or bad emotions, but these emotions are going to be overtaking you. So remember, I told you earlier in live to make sure that you're balancing yourself. You're not sitting too much in this Aquarian energy, and you're not sitting too much in this Venus energy. Kind of like an even keel, where you're able to process things as they come in and being able to move forward with that information, right? Especially since the Ace of Cups is here. The Ace is also number one, which is starting over, which is a new cycle. Remember, full moons are completions and endings. So there may be a completion or an end to something that you thought that was going to be long term, or something that you thought that was going to bring you some type of abundance, but it didn't, right? And since it didn't, or it hasn't yet, now you get time to rework the plan. Now you get time, because when you are moving towards something and you're working at it, and you're not seeing the results, you lose faith, you lose hope, you lose sight on the big goal, because all you can think of is that, damn, I haven't made any progress. There's no progress happening. You know, there's no reward. There's no harvest. But in this, spirit is saying, hey, just keep going. Get out of that overthinking, overanalyzing. Get on the pathway, get to moving, get to going, because there's an abundance. You're going to feel what you need to move forward, right? That's what this Ace of Cups is about. All right. Oh, thank you, Six Figures. All right. Whoo, Cancer. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Cancer for this week? Ooh. All right, Cancer. Cancer, you got the Five of Cups. I talked about this in one of your readings. I think it was last month's reading. I talked about this Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is kind of being sad, a little run down because of what's happening, or what has happened, what has transpired. Remember, this full moon is you being able to see, right? Now you get to step back and see everything that's happened, everything that's transpired, and you get to reflect and see how to move forward, how to best move forward, right? And so with this Five of Cups, that's like you looking at what didn't work, you're looking at what you lost, you're looking at what didn't come into fruition. But it's like, our hope is not lost, because if you look at this card, there are three cups at the front of the card that are, spilt over, that are, on their sides. But then you have these two cups behind him that are still standing up straight. So that should give you hope in knowing that our hope is not lost. You haven't lost anything. You haven't lost everything. And your work was not in vain, because you have other things to fall back on. You have, some things, everything is not going to work exactly how we want it to work, because some things are not for our highest and greatest good. So that maybe what you could ask during this full moon cycle is for spirit, God, higher source, divine energy, whoever it is that you pray to, for them to give you clarity on how to move forward, or what to move forward with, right? And based on that, based on the answer that they give you, you know how to go. You know where to go. You understand that, some shit just don't work. And the biggest thing is to be asking, what's for my highest and greatest good? Because some things, there are a lot of times things that we want, and this is for everybody, this is not just for Cancer, but sometimes there are things that we want, or things that we desire to have, people. Sometimes they're not for our highest and greatest good. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we're not meant to, for example, a beautiful flower in the garden. I'm going to use this. I know it's typical. I know it's kind of cliche, but check this out. If you see a beautiful flower in the garden, are you going to pick it, or are you going to leave it there? Same thing. Sometimes there are people, places, things, and situations that we just got to look at from afar. We have to admire from afar. Sometimes. Let me get some water. So think about that, Cancer. But I would definitely tell you to go ahead and ask Spirit to give you clarity and insight on what is for your highest and greatest good, what you should be working on. Get clear about that, so that you won't have that same feeling of feeling like, you know, I wasted my time, or I wasted my resources, I wasted this, or whatever, right? Spirit. Okay, Leo. Before I even got the words out. There we go. Leo, you got the Ace of Pentacles. There's a new pathway that you have to get on to make this money, to get this money, to get this material wealth and possession. It's your season. So, of course, light is being shined on you and on what you have going on, because Spirit wants you to see how to, or where to go. Not how, but where to go. And some of y'all have some new opportunities that are coming around, especially since this full moon in Aquarius is happening on Thursday. So there's a closing or ending to something, and then there's a new beginning or a new pathway. So some of y'all may be getting a new job or starting a new job. Some of y'all may be starting a new business. Some of y'all may be getting a new car, something like that. It's something where there's something old that you gave up with this full moon in Aquarius, and something new that you're bringing into your life, right? And it's divinely guided, especially since it's the Ace of Pentacles. We're talking about the one, just like what I talked about with Gemini. Is that you're at that one stage, at the beginning stage, the beginning phase. And it could be something dealing with love and relationships too, especially since Venus is in Leo right now. And I think we have that, what's that, Sun conjunct? Sun conjunct Venus, right? Yeah, Sun conjunct Venus on the 14th. So it may be a new relationship. And maybe this could be somebody that y'all could actually build with, right? You could do some building with, because Pentacles represent earth signs. That's Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But it has to do with earthly possessions, material wealth and possessions. That's what Pentacles talk about. Talks about money, the coin, the almighty coin. All right. So good luck with that, Leo. Let me know how it goes. All right. Let me reshuffle real quick. Virgo. Spirit messages do you have for the sign of Virgo for this week? Ooh. The World card in reverse. All right, Virgo. We're almost to your season. We're almost to your season, but I feel like there's still some work left for you to do. Because when the World card is in reverse, that's a new cycle that probably wants to come in or needs to come in, but there's something holding it back. It's at a standstill. It's not moving. What is that for you? And are you standing in the way of it actually moving? Because we know that Virgos can have this self-sabotaging type of energy. Vonda, yes, it could be a new love. Yes, it could be. So Virgo, I think the biggest thing, right, is one, not to overthink, right? We just talked about this. Don't overthink what's happening, what's going on, or how to move forward, or this new thing, this new cycle, this new beginning. Don't overthink it, because when you overthink it, you put yourself in this World card in reverse energy where things are at a standstill. There's the new cycle can't come in because there's a blockage or a restriction, right? So if you're holding on to something, and remember the lady in this car, she's naked. She got a purple ribbon wrapped around a little bit. So you're not being in a position of being vulnerable, or being in a position to be in a receptive mode or to receive, right? That's an issue, because how can you start a new cycle or begin something new or bring something full circle, especially with this full moon that we're having in Aquarius this week? So I feel like, in a sense, some of y'all may be on that scale where I say it's not balanced and leaning too much towards one energy versus the other, right? Some of y'all may be needing or wanting love, but you may not have love right now because of X, Y, and Z, right? Or it could be some of y'all are not living in your truth, right? And because you're not living your truth, you can't get this thing off the ground that you've been trying to get off the ground. Or you can't close out a particular part of your life anymore that no longer serves you because of some type of restriction. So the advice here is to get yourself, figure out what it is that's restricting you, whether it's yourself or other people, a thought process, heartache, pain, right? Because I know that with Virgos, they have a tendency to be passive aggressive or to kind of brush off their own feelings or get to a point where their feelings, they kind of brush everything off and very nonchalant and basically sabotage everything that they fucking work for, right? Don't do that. That's not what I'm telling you to do here. Don't do that. But since we're going into this full moon energy, it's causing you to step back, step away from the distraction, step away from people, sit by yourself, use your Virgo energy to its best ability, right? Because we know Virgo is represented by the Hermit card. The Hermit talks about self-reflection, right? But that self-reflection leads to something. It leads to the pathway. It gives you clarity. It gives you, it shines light on what you need to be looking at, what you need to be paying attention to, right? So use your own energy, right? Especially since we're getting close to your season. Use that energy for your highest and greatest good, right? Do that. That way you're able to, whatever this restriction is, get rid of it. Because you can't get to this new cycle. Hold on. You can't get to this new cycle until you do that. Right? All right. Whoa. Let's see. All right. We have Virgo. Now we got Libra. Libra. 6 of Wands. Victory. Support. Remember I told y'all last month, don't be afraid to ask for help. So it looks like some of y'all asked for help. Some of y'all asked for help. And y'all got the help that y'all needed and were able to be successful and succeed at whatever it is that y'all were doing or getting ready to do, right? Especially with this full moon energy, this is the result of the work you've been putting in. This is the result of victory, a new cycle, right? Because look at that reef. That reef looks just like the other reef that was in the world card that was surrounding the woman. A new cycle, a completion, an ending. That's what's happening for you. So take it in stride. I'm glad to see that y'all took my advice and decided to ask for help if you needed it, and gave yourself some self-care. Indulge a little bit, you know, enjoy some of the fruits of your labor, because I remember y'all had the 3 of Cups. You need to have some celebration, right? Celebrate your accomplishments. Understanding and knowing that you can't do everything by yourself or do everything all the time for everybody. No, doesn't work that way. So I'm glad to see that y'all have taken the information. Some of y'all, not everybody, taking the information from last month's tarot reading and using it going forward to bring in this victory, right? The end of the fight, right? It's the end of the fight. You're victorious. Congratulations. All right. Scorpio. Almost. That was an interesting way that that card landed. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio? 2 cards. We got the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. And we got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Sequence. Perfect sequence, actually. So let's talk about this. The 4 of Pentacles. I'm so happy to see the 4 of Pentacles with the 5 of Pentacles. Let me tell you why. So in the upright position, the 4 of Pentacles, you're guarding your heart, you're guarding your head. You got shit underneath your feet, can't move, right? But in 4 of Pentacles reverse, you're no longer having this guard up or this restriction or feeling like you have to hold on to everything, right? Because you were in some suffering especially maybe some of y'all went into some voluntary suffering with somebody else with this Five of Pentacles, right? And so since it's in the reverse position, it's coming out of that isolation, coming out of that voluntary suffering, coming out of that stubborn shit. Because, you know, Scorpio, y'all have fixed energy. Y'all can be very stubborn or fixed in your own energy. You don't want to hear what other people have to say because you think you know it all, but you don't. You should try to take information from other people. It's important to do that. And so with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, you're coming into a new cycle where you no longer have to hold on to everything that you have worked for or hold on to everything that you have, right? Especially when it comes to anything dealing with your money, with your finances, you know, anything dealing with your material wealth and possessions. You've come into, especially with this full moon in Aquarius, that's telling you, hey, you know what? This is the end of that, having to hold on to shit real tight because you don't know when you're going to get something else, or you feel like this is all you got or all you're going to get. That's not it. Especially since you came out of this Five of Pentacles energy. Five of Pentacles, look at that. These people are outside in the blizzard, ratty clothes, walking past the building instead of taking their ass inside the building. The building looks like a church because of the stained glass window. It looks like a church or a mosque or whatever it is. Place of worship, temple, whatever. Right? They didn't seek shelter. That's the whole point. They didn't seek shelter. They stood their ass outside, walked outside in the snow. For what? Go on inside. It's cold as hell outside. Right? And so since that's the case, now you've come out of that. Right? You've come out of that. And I really feel like because you decided or something happened where you may be earning more money, you may be getting a new job, a higher paying job, you may be getting more opportunities there's some type of elevation that can either make you more money, whether you went to school or you finished school, you just some type of certificate or something like that. Or you could just be getting a new job or entrepreneurship starting to kick off and stuff like that. And you were, you know, holding on tightly to your money because, you know, you had to make sure that everything was covered while you built this business up, while you built it off the ground. And so I feel like some of y'all have gotten away from whoever this other person is in this card. Whoever the other person is, whether it's male or female, older or younger, you got away from that person because that person was leading you down the wrong way. That's number one. Number two, they were the person that was like, hey, you know, I got it. We can take it. We can do this ourselves. We don't need anybody. We don't need anybody else. What? You're not going to listen to experts, or you're not going to listen to other people who have experience in that? You just think you're going to do it by yourself? It don't work like that. So some of y'all have gotten away from whoever that person is, or even situation, or even thought process, right? But I really feel like this is the person. You got away from this person that was putting you in a position to lose. I'm just saying. And you were losing your money, honey. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Sagittarius? What messages? All right, this card just came out. 3 Wands. All right, fire energy for a fire sign. That's what I'm talking about. Squad. Taylor, where you at? You still in here, Taylor? But the 3 Wands. The 3 Wands is you have turned your back to old shit. You turned your back to the old way of thinking, old way of doing, right? Because Wands represent action. So these are old ways of doing things. Now you're looking out into the horizon and like, man, there's some new shit to look at, some new shit to go forward with. And ships are coming in. There's ships everywhere in this card. I don't know if y'all can see that. There we go. They're like little ships, right? And there are mountains back there too. So it talks about getting on this new trail, this new route, right? Just like the Ace of Pentacles in a sense. But with this, there's not a lot of greenery. Kind of, yeah, there's some water and mountains and some dry land with a little grass on there. But this is a new journey that's starting that that you have to water yourself, right? You have to water it yourself. You have to build on it yourself, because if you look in this card, you don't see a lot of buildings. You don't see You don't see any of that. You just see some ships. Okay? And so now it's time for you to move forward, to give your back to old things, old people, especially with this full moon in Aquarius. Anything that doesn't serve you when a full moon comes around, your full moon ritual should be about releasing, should be about completing, should be about ending, should be about things coming to a culmination point, period. All right? Sagittarius, move forward with your action, with your plan. Move forward, go for it, keep going, keep moving. Right now, you've gotten the green light. You have literally gotten the green light to move forward, to keep going, because it's important for you to understand that with this man with his back turned towards us in his card, he said, "Time for that's behind me now. I'm done with it. Bye. Move on." Good job, squad. Capricorn. Spirit messages for you have for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, you got 2 cards. Ooh, 3. Oh. First card is the King of Wands. Making decisions. 10 of Swords in reverse. Mm. And then we got the 7 of Wands. So you got a lot of fire energy right here. Let's talk about this. The King of Wands, you made a decision. You made a decision. You made a decision to stop dwelling and sitting in, or how can I say, sitting in energy that made you feel like you were getting stabbed in the back. People, places, things, situations. You made a firm decision to let that go, to leave it alone, to stop fighting it, to stop fighting. Who are you fighting? Or who were you fighting? Right? Because this 7 of Wands, you were defending your position. You were having to fight people off, get people out for you. And it was probably these people that, put these swords in your back. People, things, situations. And this is also about a mentality, right? This is also about a mentality that's dying. And especially 10 breaks down to 1. 1 is a new cycle, right? Taylor, I just did Sagittarius. I was calling you. But this is definitely you making the decision to come out of this mental bullshit. That's what it is. It's mental bullshit, right? When you feel like people, are going against you. You feel like you got to fight for this. You got what for what? What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? Dust your feet off, dust your knees off, pour some peroxide down your back, whatever you need to do. Okay? Whatever you need to do that. And I really feel like this was you fighting with your own mentality. Fighting with your own, God damn it, that's it. You were fighting with your own mentality. This wasn't other people that were stabbing you in the back. This was you fighting with your own mentality because your ass is stubborn. Right? You're stubborn. You don't want to listen to other people when people are trying to give you insight, especially with this King of Wands. This is fire energy. You got a fire sign around you. That's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That's been giving you good information, good concrete information on how to move, how to adapt to certain situations. And you decide that you decided, right, that you didn't want to listen to what they had to say, or you want to kind of do your own thing, or you want to listen to your own bullshit. But it puts you in this energy where you were flat on your face. You fell flat on your face from your own doing, because ain't nobody standing around putting swords in your back. You by yourself. Nobody's there. So Spirit saying, hey man, it's okay to let old ideologies, old thought processes, old ways of doing and thinking. It's okay to let those die off. It's okay to say, you know what, I was wrong. I wasn't right. I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, that's how I felt at that time. But don't sit in energy past its expiration date. Move your ass on. Period. Move on. But move on in knowing that you're able to adapt to whatever situation, circumstance that you find yourself in, because 9 times out of 10, your ass manifested it anyways. Okay? Let's be real here. The things that play out in our lives, we manifested them on our own. Aquarius. Spirit, what messages do you have? All right, Aquarius. That part came right on that and sat like that. Ace of Wands. Aquarius, we talked about y'all new beginning. We talked about this solid foundation last month. And here it is, this newness, this new action, this new road to take, this new process, this new way of doing. It's here now, right? Especially since we have the full moon in your sign. When the full moon in your sign, but the full moon is sitting on top of your sun. Okay. And where else you have Aquarius in your chart. But there's a full moon happening in Aquarius, and it's telling you, hey, you know what? We have some divinely guided action that you got to take, that you got to move on. Whether this is making a decision to move, making a decision to start a new job, making a decision to leave a relationship, whatever it is, especially since we have in this Sun conjunct Venus. Yeah, this could be relationships, money, creativity, anything creative work that you've been working on, or that you've been thinking about working on, right? Especially with this full moon energy now, because between the full moon and the new moon, that's like a planning stage, right? And remember, this is all generalized, so you have to look at your own chart to see what's going on with your own chart, to see how it'll possibly play out in your life, and then how you can properly plan for it, or how you can, change the scales to balance out in your favor. You understand what I mean? All right. Woo. Last sign, Pisces. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Pisces? Good luck on that, Aquarius. Pisces, you got the Magician, baby. Hold up. You got the Magician. Pisces, you've been putting in some work to manifest. What you been doing? Be careful on what you're manifesting. Remember, I said to pay attention to this full moon, especially with that Sun conjunct. No, the full moon in Aquarius opposite Venus. Pay attention to that, because you want to make sure that what you're manifesting is for your highest and greatest good. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's true. It's what you have to pay attention to, right? And it's something that you want to create an infinite amount of abundance for, right? You don't want just no one time, no wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type of thing. You want it to be where you are consistently bringing in these manifestations, right? So you can manifest through some emotional work, through some mental work, through some action, right? Through some earthly work, So take this time to utilize this full moon energy. That's number one. But to also, I will really tell you, especially with Pisces, this water energy, I know that fire season can kind of shake you up a little bit because you're not used to, or it's kind of hard for you to adapt because you're a water sign to this fire energy, because you want to put the fire out, right? You want to put the fire out, but don't put the fire out. Don't do that. Don't put the fire out. Instead, work with the energy, right? So we know that fire energy is expansive. It's in your face. It's like, I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move, right? Use that to your advantage, especially with these Magician cards, to bring in your manifestation. Because with this Magician card and with this fire energy, it's saying to move on it, right? Move on. Whatever it is, it's time for you to take some time to build your spiritual development so that you can bring in manifestations, especially as we run from the full moon, okay, to the new moon. Let me just get one card for the collective. Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective? What messages do you have for the collective? All right. Page of Pentacles. This new opportunity. There we go. This new opportunity. Looking at this new opportunity to make money, right? To bring in resources, to bring in wealth, to bring in something tangible, of a tangible nature. And you can touch, you can feel. All right. Understanding how to move with that, especially because we're moving to this, we're in this fire energy. Fire likes to go, right? But remember, Leo goes without knowing all the details. So you got to pay attention. That's why you look at stuff. You take a look at it. Look at it in detail, though. Look at it in detail. All right, I'm going to pull a card from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. Oh, dang. Whew. Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective for this week? What messages do you have for us? Thank you in advance for your clear and concise messages for our highest and greatest good. All right. Child, we almost at an hour and a half. All right. Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective for this week? What guidance can you provide to us? Spirit. Okay. That was that. That's interesting. 2 sevens. So we had this card come out. It's called Emergence. See if I can get that. Sorry, y'all. Emergence. Look how pretty that is. Ain't that pretty? Look how that purple in there, girl. I love it. Okay. Emergence. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Child, this is Leo energy to the fullest. This is the Sun card. Leo is represented by the sun in astrology, right? But in the tarot, it's also represented by the sun. But there's a little boy, a little child. He may be a toddler, early toddler. And he's on this big white horse with this big red ribbon that's flowing behind him. He got a sunflower crown. He got sunflowers in the background. This big ass sun is really illuminated behind him. And so remember I told y'all how Leo is going to be this resurgence of energy, vitality, kind of passion and drive and desire. So that's what this is, you know, especially for some of y'all who've been feeling a little low or on the lower end. Now you get to see like this ability for you to bring more of that childlike energy out, that innocence, you know, not being swayed by society, public opinion, and things like that. Truth, being authentic to yourself and being happy about doing that, right? Especially with this full moon, you're really not. Or being too serious, right? And like I said, not having that balance. And so at the bottom of the deck, there's conception, birth and new ideas, right? It says the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focus, awareness, and intention. Child, let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Something's going on here. Something is going on here. There's a significance of the number 7. Hold on. So we have emergence. That's 2 and a 5. Breaks down to 7 if you add it up. We got conception. 1 and 6 breaks down to 7 if you add it up. The card that's underneath conception is transition. Hold on. There we go. 4 and 3 breaks down to 7. Transition says the frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence in our lives so that we can continue to learn, to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. And that's what I told you about, this culmination point, this new cycle, this ending or completion, right? And then underneath that, we got Gaia, which breaks down to 10. There's a 2 and an 8. Okay. And Gaia says the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all. So hold on one second. Let me see. I just looked it up. Okay. I'm still working on my numerology skills. Okay. But the number 7 is a number of a spiritual quest. Even if the person who resonates with the 7 is in a secular profession, they will pursue their goals with an energy and determination that is nothing short of zealotry. So with 7 and it being this spiritual quest, remember I told y'all that Jupiter went direct. Remember, Jupiter has to do with spirituality, higher learning, like learning other cultures, and to a certain extent it can be metaphysics as well, right? And so with that being said, like there are literally 3 sevens, 3 of them, 3 sevens that came out from this oracle deck. And the oracle has a very strong presence when it comes to readings and stuff like that. I see a lot of people, they may do a lot of oracle over tarot, but this oracle is so, I don't know what it is, but let's look at this. There's emergence, there's conception, and there's transition. So there's an emergence, there's something new that blossoms, that bloom, right? My email is info@iamwellversed.com. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So there's the emergence that's coming out, right? And then there's a conception. There's something that there's a combination or together of something to make something else, right? So that could be this creative energy that's surrounding us with this sun conjunct Venus, right? So there's a conception of something, or when there's a conception as well, there's also like this, like planning and development stage from that too. You're welcome. There's like a planning and development stage for that too. And so the conception, right? The planning and development prepares you for the transition. Ooh. It prepares you for this transition, for this move, for this, because this full moon, we're transiting, right? We're making a transit into another moon cycle that's coming, right? Or we're completing a cycle. And when you complete a cycle, you go through a transition. You go through a transition. Mm. Mm. So there's a deep spiritual healing process that's happening. There are going to be some people who are going to really elevate their spiritual minds, really elevate their spirit man, their spiritual intellect. And some people, wait a minute now, this, for some people, this could be actual conception of a child. So if y'all don't want to get pregnant, take proper protocol. It's the same. And then there could be a transition that's happening that's moving you from this old way of thinking, this old doing. Remember I told you with full moons, there are completions and endings, right? So there's a transition that's happening that's preparing you. And it's preparing you for this Gaia energy, right? That 10 breaks down to 1, that new cycle. That's what the transition is preparing you for. Because you have to move, you've got to move that way. You have to. It's just the way the cookies crumble right now. You know what? I'm gonna pull one card from the Mystical Wisdom deck real quick. Really, 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 really quickly. All right. You're welcome, Vonda. You're welcome, Taylor. Woo. Spirit, give us one of these mystical wisdom cards for the week. Can we get a card for the week? Here. All right, the card came out, but I want to make sure. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Celebration. Let go and have fun. I told this to, who did I tell this to? Libra. Celebrate. Cheer up. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. Remember that childlike energy I was just talking about? Kids know how to have fun. They know how to have fun regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's happening, regardless of who is happening, regardless of who is happening with, right? Children know how to have fun. So that's what Spirit is telling you. Take time during this full moon cycle to enjoy yourself, to have some fun, to be lighthearted, to have some compassion. Remember I told y'all, you know, to have some compassion with yourself and with other people, especially with this full moon in Aquarius, that's opposite Venus. Have some compassion with yourself and with other people, because everybody is going through something. They may not talk about it or speak about it, right? But everybody is going through something or has some shit going on in their life. And it's important that you treat people with compassion, right? And that energy will be returned to you, so that when you need it, somebody will give you that same courtesy in return. Simple as that. So as always, I want to thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all vibing with me in the chat, especially coming to watch and listen to what I have to say. I appreciate it. I really hope y'all learned something. And the whole purpose of me doing these live videos is to, one, help educate on astrology, but I'm also educating myself, right? Because you never are done learning astrology, period. Learning astrology, but also giving insight or helping y'all with what y'all need or need clarity on during the week, right? Because waiting a whole month to hear something back for somebody, you get a little confused, right? You have a lot going on throughout the month, and so during the week, because I really feel like it's very important to catch up and to check in and see how the people are doing, because like I said, everybody is going through something. It's irregardless of what they look like on the outside, everybody got some shit going on, right? So as always, I want to thank y'all again. Thank you. Much appreciation, love and light to everybody. So as always, if you would like to book a personal reading, the information will be down in the description box. I believe it's there. I'll double check in just a second. My email is in the live chat. So if you want to look and see, my email is in the live chat, and then I'll have my website up this week. I'm kind of getting the rest of my stuff together for that. But yeah, thank y'all again. Peace and love and light. I holla. Bye-bye.